Hi, baby. Okay, here we are in the granary. This will be my first clicker session with the evergreen pups. I do not have Rosemary and Basil in here with me, having learned that that's a bad idea for everybody. They don't know what a session is. They have done clicker work with their breeder, but not with me. So this is like starting over. Predictably blown mind of this puppy. Don't look on the ground. Don't look on the ground. So the presence of the treats are more mind-blowing than hard to use them for training because they're so invested in looking for them and competing with each other. So I may have to work with these puppies individually, but we'll see if they can figure out that this situation comes from me. Scramble at me. So click marks the behavior and they're paid for what happened at the click, even though that puppy gave me a behavior I want and then put his feet all over me. He gets paid for when the click happens. So I'm not paying him for what happened after and the mistakes he's making and taking the treats from me. I'm paying him for what he did when the click happened. And they will start to sort this out in their minds. So I'm taking Manding, although he wasn't really thinking about it. His body was doing it. And I have to start somewhere. I have to start with a high rate of reinforcement. And I need to work through with these guys to a point where they start to relax and be mindful with me. They're just starting to do just a little bit. Yes. Here. Look his neck. Good. You. Somebody has to look up at me. Yes. I may have to pay these guys a long way away from each other, as long as they figure out that treats are plentiful. That will work okay. That was eye contact. She also manded, and then she lost her mind. Rome was not built in a day. There you go. This little pup, the white pup, has figured out that reinforcement is going to continue to happen. So he's looking up at me to see how he can make me give it to him. The other two are still just busy on the floor and competing with each other. And this guy stops and looks up and engages me. Yes, that was Mandy. So in a situation like this, where mostly what's happening is crazy dogs, my criteria has to be low and my reinforcement has to be high so that they start to trust that when we're in a training circumstance, treats will happen without them having to do much to earn them. So what I'm doing is creating some trust. Yes. So he manded and he waited for me. That's the first time I've seen these guys do that. Now that is a behavior that they were taught with their breeder. You want to just look at me? Okay. So I am trying to dovetail in on Marie's good training of these pups. This pup has figured it out. He manded and he waited for me to come to him. He's the only puppy so far that has figured this out, figured out that he can manipulate me instead of just being everywhere. Would you like to snap? Good job. Hi. Very nice. Looked up at me. These guys are more on the ground than they were. They haven't growled at each other for a while. Looked up at me. Guys, the treat hand is up here. Yeah, good job. So anybody that looks up at me, if I have a dog's eyes, I have his brain, which gives me an opportunity to mark and reinforce the behavior. This puppy is consistently the only one who's figured it out here this morning. Interesting. This orange pup is the overachiever of the group. She's always first. She's very on, and she really demands that anything that she wants, she gets. This puppy can be a little bit mindful and a little shy, or he'll stay back out of the fray and make a decision about what he's going to do. She is in the fray, always, often the reason for the fray. So 3 very different minds in these pups. One is not better than the other. I just have to figure out how to come in beside them and let them learn to be their best self. So now they're not as frenzied about the treats. Those 2 have gone off and owned the new real estate a little bit. Here. I have to let these guys know that there's a game here still, because they don't trust that entirely. Yet he does. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Good pup. So they're not growling at each other, keeping their feet on the floor, gaining some ground here with these babes. All right, you guys want to look at stuff on the floor? Let's look at stuff on the floor. So that is an end of session cue for me, that they can take their attention off of me, to have themselves for a minute. I'm hoping that when they find all these pieces, they either go back to work or look up and engage me, and then we'll start again. But how long training sessions last are always up to the dogs. I'm really pleased with what I'm seeing. They're not growling at each other anymore. Everybody's got their feet on the ground, which is lovely. They're looking for the treats on the floor with some consistency, which they didn't know how to do the last time we were in here. This is perfect. So remember, this is a messy process. Working with a whole bunch of puppies means that your rate of reinforcement is high and your criteria is low. And clicking for nothing and paying is better than not clicking. And worrying about precision, their precision or mine, is missing the point, because the biggest thing that I teach in these guys is that a training session is an opportunity to manipulate a person and earn reinforcement. This is the only puppy who slowed his brain down enough to really understand that. He's often kind of the middle of the road guy. You are a smart boy, aren't you? So everybody's learning. Very nice. Very nice puppies. So this is a great training session. It's absolutely perfect. I'm really pleased. Puppies aren't on for very long, and so it's time to stop. Take them outside for their next lesson of the day, which is going to be new real estate and working with a new adult mentor dog. But what I see here, they're off on their own things. They're not growling at each other. They're engaging each other and then leaving. Charging around in here shows a lot of confidence in this environment that they've only been on one other time. So they get straight A's. I get C, maybe, for trying to keep up with them and do my best. And that's where we'll leave it for today.